Welcome to yet another episode of Nerds with Badges. I want to do something a little special tonight because I got something on my screen. Jeez, I gotta get me another computer. I will hopefully have me a new computer within the next week or so. I'm really looking forward to that because I really want to get me a new laptop that can play like the latest games. I mean, right when I got this laptop, 16 gigs was a big deal. Mm. Oh, in case you're wondering what I'm eating, this is a strawberry rice cake. Um, I buy them at the 7-Eleven. They're like $8. It's kind of like if you mixed a gummy bear with cake. They actually have cake lollipops too at Starbucks. But anyway, it's like a cake kind of texture. It's got like a little bit of marshmallow and some fruit filling inside, and it's kind of a little powdery on it. I don't know if you can really get a good view. It's so delicious. I'm addicted to them. I think they put crack in them or something. But they're just so expensive. I usually get the banana flavor, but they were out. So I was like, I should try either the peach or the strawberry, and I got the strawberry to go with my coffee. It's my ritual when I come to work every night. I have a cup of coffee and usually cakes or something, a slice of cake or something, or a donut. Maybe it's a security guard thing with the coffee and the donuts. I don't know. But anyway, I got here to work a little early. I usually get here around 9 o'clock. My shift starts at 10 o'clock, and I wanted to do something special tonight. I don't really I don't really talk much about what it is I do. I guess much on these videos. It's usually video games, I think, and comic books. But I don't really talk much about my comic books. See, when I was in fifth grade. I used to draw these comic books, these little comic books. It was really I just draw it for fun. My friends liked reading them. I guess I was inspired by Marvel and DC, and so I had these characters that I used to draw, and there was one character in particular that I used to draw, which was it's interesting. Now I'm 55 years old, and I took this character and updated them and brought them into the year 2023, 2024. Well, yeah, it was 2024. We're 2025 now, but I had this printed sometime last year, and I only made a few copies because it's really expensive. I really didn't know. I mean, this is all new to me doing comic books. Um, my company is called Cryptid Cookout Productions, and cryptids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, Mothman, um, like mythical creatures. But the company that publishes my stuff, it's really like my publisher, is Argo Comics or Thunder Zone. So this was my first comic that I did. This is a variant. I think this is the regular cover, and there was like a variant cover that we had. I don't know if I have the other cover with me. I couldn't find these books, and I only have like one copy each of my comic, which is really just crazy. Oh, here's the variant cover. Dragon Manx. Dragon Manx is sort of a Batman, Wolverine, Constantine type character. That he is a demigod whose parents were possessed by Anubis and Bastet during the moment of his conception. So he's like, I guess, like Hercules, born with these abilities that are beyond mortal man. He has some human characteristics, of course, but he also has godly characteristics. So this is a cover featuring Dragon Manx, who I used to actually play in my web series years ago, Sons of Legend, which I'm doing a reboot of, but I'll talk more about all that. Right now, I'm just going to focus on the comics. So this is Dragon Manx, and this is his on off on again, lover, boyfriend, significant other. Um, his partner is a vampire who was sired by one of Dracula's sons. So this guy has powers that are like beyond the typical vampire, but he struggles with his bloodlust, and he's been placed under Dragon Manx's. Uh, Basically, Dragon Manx is responsible for him because all the other vampires they want to kill him because he's like an outcast, a freak, something that shouldn't exist. Their politics. They have a whole thing for creating other vampires, and it's not exactly an easy thing to do. And then you have this one person who becomes a vampire with like almost like god tier abilities. So they just wanted to like take him out. So Dragon Manx had to like basically vouch for him, and because Dragon Manx is basically the protector of the balance on Earth, and he specifically deals with magical menaces. That was mainly the purpose for his legacy, but he deals with other stuff as well. But the magical balance is really, really was supernatural menaces that he was basically created. His lineage was created. It's a whole convoluted story. Long story short, it's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's always a alpha omega guardian, and so this generation's alpha omega guardian is Dragon Manx. Dragon Manx was actually in a suspended animation, hidden from his father, Anubis, for the longest, and so he wakes up in this time period, and he has to adjust. He wakes up as a kid, and he finds out he's having all these memories. He's adopted. He has these memories of Egypt and stuff, but he thinks that he's dreaming about Egypt, but it's actually memories that he's having. He's remembering stuff from when he was a baby, because when they brought him out of the suspended animation, he's like maybe 2.5 years old. He has like a little bit of memories of Egypt before he was put in suspended animation. So I have been building a whole big storyline with this character. So this was a cover that I really liked the most, because here we have Captain Liberia on the cover. He's like the Superman of my universe, and this is the story the story that the first story arc deals with these teddy bears that typically protect psychic children, but in the story they're being perverted by a force turned against kids, and so Dragon Manx comes out of retirement reluctantly, somewhat, to deal with it. So Gerbilla, the comic that I said I used to draw when I was a kid, this I always thought it would be really cool to do a story about a giant monster. I love Godzilla, so it'd be really cool to have a kaiju, and maybe have an American kaiju. Maybe have a character that is a kaiju, but it's culturally it would be a different spin on the whole kaiju mythos. So you have this young black woman, which you don't really see in a lot of these types of stories. She ends up becoming a guardian, a protector of this creature that she finds, which is really like almost like a rat when she finds it. It's a gerbil, but when she finds out later that it's not a regular gerbil. This gerbil creature actually, if I can find a cover here, a picture here. It shoots lasers out of her eyes, and the my kaiju is a she. Gerbilla shoots lasers out of her eyes, and she obviously can grow really big, to giant size, to fight monsters. So, like I said, I really, it's still very surreal having my own comic book. But it was something I always wanted to do, and I just kind of stumbled into comic book, this whole publication of comic books. And I'll tell you that story, but I want to also talk about. I got to get more copies of these so I can sell them. It's a whole nother world out there. When you get the comics done, and then you got to sell them. That's the hard part. Anybody can get your books published, but actually selling them, That's a whole nother story. Oh, this is the variant cover for Jabilla. And I only have that. I literally have like one copy. I have a lot of copies of Dragon Banks, but Jabilla and the other one, which is a big favorite, Gamer Granny, which I think this would make a really good film. Live action or animated. Animated would be cheaper, of course, for obvious reasons. But basically, the story revolves around a grandmother who she's really, really good at playing video games. So she starts to win tournaments and she keeps it a secret from her family. And somehow, a video game creation comes to life, like an AI kind of rebels and starts kidnapping people. And some of her relatives, grandson, ends up getting basically sucked inside this video game universe. So Gamer Granny has to go in and save everybody. Hence the whole flying on the dragon and having a sword and all that. It'd be really cool to tell that kind of a story because, you know, I'm 55 years old. I've been playing video games since I was a kid. I think it's one of those weird things people think that, you know, when you get to be a certain age, you just stop playing video games. I don't know why people think that, but it's not reality. I mean, maybe some people, I know life happens. You got kids, you got a career, you got bills to pay. I made a promise to myself, my goal, 1 hour video gaming a day. 1 hour. I typically go over that, but I find that it's really good to help me stay alert. Like if I'm about to be like if I'm really tired or sleepy, I play certain types of video games. I just wake up. Like especially if I play like there's two games that I play that always wake me up. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, which is available on PC and PlayStation, or the Godzilla video game. And I would say anything that has like a lot of action in it. Because I was playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on my Xbox tonight before I came into work, and man, that game was really intense. It was making me mad at certain points. So yeah, I was playing a demo for a game called Kazan. Kazan, The Last Berserker, is a demo for a game that's about to come out. I was really interested and I saw the trailer. I played the demo, and man, before I knew it, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was playing Friday night into Saturday morning. And I was like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. I gotta go to sleep. But there was a boss that I've been trying to beat, and I stopped playing for a while because I got stuck, and it was just so frustrating. And I realized every time this boss would kill me and I would come back, I was still accruing like points that I could use to increase my magic and my hit points. And also, I noticed, you know, when I would kill the monsters, I would get like a lot of points, depending on how you kill the monsters at the little underlings before you got to the boss. I was really pissed though when I found out that I was losing my like special potions and things that I was finding. I would have like fired potions I could throw at the monster, the boss, and then when I would die and I would come back to life, those magic potions would be gone from my inventory. So like at one point, I pretty much ran out of everything, and it just really got down to me playing and grinding, over and over and over for hours, and building up my magic and my health. And finally, I was able to take him down, man. And I tell you, it was a real good moment. But I don't think I don't can't even remember the last time a game had me like that. Might have been God of War. I do remember the first Ninja Gaiden that came out on the Xbox One many moons ago. I had stopped playing that because I got stuck. That's like known to be like one of the hardest games. Probably next to Battletoads on the regular Nintendo. But yeah, I actually had uninstalled The Last Berserker from my PlayStation 5, and it was like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna play this anymore. But I installed it back and I managed to get through. And then after I beat the boss, they gave me like a easy access to easy level. Yeah, they gave me easy difficulty, and I could have sworn I was playing on easy difficulty. I thought I was playing on story mode or something like that. But yeah, that boss was something, and yeah, it just sucks. You have to grind, and when the game comes out, I will probably get it. It'll probably be the first AAA game that I'll be getting for my PC, my new PC. But I hope there's an easy level, man, because I like to play. I mean, challenges are good in video games, but um, it can be real stressful sometimes. I mean, I really don't want to be. I don't know. I don't think that's really the whole point. Escapism and all, but I mean, it's a good stress reliever, I suppose. But sometimes, if you make a game that's too hard, you run the risk of people probably not really getting very far, and that means that people won't really get a chance to appreciate all the hard work and creativity that the developers and the artists put into the game when they're making it. So I mean, you want to make a game, a wonderful game, but then nobody finishes it. Nobody gets past like the first couple of bosses. So you got all these levels and experiences that people won't ever. It's just something to keep in mind. Um, so you should definitely have like easier modes for pretty much every game. I've been playing Elden Ring. Well, I haven't played it in like I haven't played that game in years, and there's a bunch of new DLC and new stories they added. But when Elden Ring came out, it was really popular. It still is. A lot of cool stuff happens in that game, but man, it just is punishing difficulty. Maybe one day I might actually finish it, but I don't know. So anyway, I got off on talking about games. I was really trying to talk more about my comics, but yeah, I have at least 3 more comic books coming out before this year is done. So I gotta get myself back in the game with marketing, going to conventions. Um, I don't know, giving away books is cool, but I think a booth would be good, be a really good investment. I've been working on a website. I actually kind of like that's kind of fallen by the wayside because I've already put probably over $1,000 into this website I've been working on. I hired these people to work with me, man, and I don't know. It's been it's been a learning experience, but man, I tell you, you can do a lot with technology now without having to hire people. But it's always good, it just helps make everything easier. But I really think I got in over my head. I brought in these people to help me, and it really hasn't helped me at all. And it may just be that I might need to just eat it, as a loss and a lesson learned, and just really work on doing a lot of the stuff myself because I don't even have access to the website to like go in and like make changes and stuff. All I can do is I'm just able to like really tell them the things that I want, and then they just kind of like make the changes. But I don't like some of the things that they have, and I try to explain and like, okay, well, let me give me the password so I can go in and like make the changes that I want on the website. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation. So I don't know. I got to decide on that. I just go ahead and make a decision so I can just stop thinking about it. My cartoon has been in production. I'm doing a cartoon. So as you know, my name of my company is Cryptid Cookout Productions, and I have always had a big fascination with Sasquatch, the story of Bigfoot. So the animated project that I'm working on, I wanted to have a connected universe. I always wanted to do that from the beginning, and it's gotten really difficult over the years. Like I had my web series that I was doing years ago, and I brought in an investor, and that just kind of got derailed because they had like their own visions for what they wanted to do with my stuff, and so my whole plans just kind of got derailed. So I'm basically starting over again. So this cartoon that I'm working on about Bigfoot and the live action film will be like a soft. It's kind of like a soft reboot of my universe, but I have to be careful for legal reasons. Like this, certain things, certain story elements, I probably can't use again. Uh, you know, lawsuits. It's kind of a weird situation, but I got to tell you, anybody out there, if you're doing stuff, whether it's films, music, books, and you have investors that are helping you out, don't give people complete control over your shit. I mean, I can't put it any more blunt than that. You got to have control over your stuff and don't let people come in and take over, because it's your vision, not their vision. They're giving you money to make your stuff, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean that I have to listen to any of your ideas or anything. Because if that, if you have that kind of relationship, but it really isn't, it shouldn't be that way. And I think it happens a lot in the entertainment industry. So you just be careful when you're taking help from people that they're not conditions, selling your soul, or, I mean, I know that you know, when you're coming up, sometimes opportunities will come your way, but you got to be careful. Don't sacrifice your integrity. As Jody Watley said at one time, it's not always about the money. You want to get your stuff out, and you can. It just might take longer, but you have to have. You got to have. You got to know. You got to draw the line somewhere, and I know now more. So if I were to come across investments, and I've had people help me out when I did my Dragon Minx comics. I mean, this was all Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and people invest in your project. You have stuff like Indiegogo, GoFundMe, Kickstarter, but people are giving you money, and there's an incentive, but they're not like saying, okay, well, you know what, you got to change this character. Sometimes, sometimes it starts small, so you got to be really careful, really careful. Stick to your guns. And I had to learn my lesson the hard way. And it does take longer when you don't have the financial backing, but it's more rewarding in the long run because it's your vision. There's a lot of horror stories in Hollywood. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but I know right now there's something going on with Superman, and possibility of a lawsuit. I think what I heard. Sometimes behind the scenes things happen, and I mean it's amazing. And sometimes it sucks for the consumers, because we're the ones that suffer. We don't know, like, such and such didn't get paid for this, and such contracts were broken or whatever, and sometimes this results in delays of things, sometimes outright cancellations. And I understand now, what artists have to go through. I mean, it can be real tough out here. So I have 3 other books coming out this year, possibly more. Like I said, getting a book done is not. I mean, it's not. That's just probably a small part of the work. You had the story, you write the story, you draw it, you print it, or if you're like me, I write the stories, create the characters and everything. I hire the artist, and the artist, they draw it. Someone pencils it, someone inks it, someone colors it, someone does the lettering, and then you got to pay for publication. So all these things are coming out of your pocket, and if you don't have an investor, and it can take time if you don't have an investor, because you got to save up the money for all this stuff. So thank God, crowdfunding is such a great idea. Whoever came with that concept. Wish we had this like 50 years ago, 40 years ago. Not that old. So you got to take all those things into consideration. So when you have the book done and you've got copies printed, then what do? You got to sell it. So you got to figure out what your demographic is, and where your demographic is where you got to go. So I got my work cut out for me. Comic book conventions, comic book shops, social media, and it really does. It becomes another job. And at some point, I would like to leave the whole 9 to 5 and just focus on this. But right now, this is what I'm doing. I had to pay my bills, do this job just a little bit longer, save up money, put my books out, work on my projects, and hopefully 2025, I can just get into doing my art full time. Because I see all the time, I get inspirations sometimes when I look at people's stories, people who've left their jobs to just pursue their passions full time, and that's what I want to do. So right now, a lot of my energy is going into my cartoon. So I'm gonna have a meeting. I think this week we're supposed to be having a meeting, and I gotta start thinking about bringing in some other animators because the workload is really one of the reasons it's taking so long. I've been working on this cartoon now for like I think like 2 years now. We're going on 2 years. It's just been a slow process. Then my animator had some health issues. Um, so and the director of the project has other stuff going on. I mean, we all have lives and things, but it's just taken a long time. It's just become very drawn out. And I did a cartoon years ago, which was based on another character. I have a comic book coming out about, and it was easier. I mean, I'm not saying it was easy, but it was easier because I had a woman who came on, and she spearheaded everything. She took over everything, and she handled. I mean, she was like my personal assistant, times 100. And I think sometimes life happens and you just kind of get distracted. But I don't know, I might need to bring in another person to just kind of help shepherd the project to completion, because it's Detector Pig probably took us a year to finish. I think it took us about a year to do. And it's a 3 minute short. It's up on YouTube. And that is a character I used to draw all the time. And it's like I said, it's been surreal seeing the stuff that I drew as a kid coming to life, whether it's in book form or animation or live action even. But one thing I have learned though, and I'm going to leave you with this. I want to try to finish watching this Venom movie. I rent it on my Xbox. Try to watch a little bit of it before my shift starts. But sometimes some of your best ideas can come from like old stuff. So I'm glad I have kept the journal. I've kept the journals over the years. I blog a lot. Sometimes I go back and I look at stuff and I get ideas. Sometimes I see old drawings and I get ideas. So if you are ever like in a creative, you get blocked or whatever, sometimes just look at older stuff that you've done and you can get inspiration from that. I mean, sometimes it's hard. I don't want to say it's hard, but it seems like Hollywood has kind of run out of ideas to some degree. And I think that's why we see a lot of remakes and sequels. There are original ideas out there, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, people that have these ideas may not have the means or resources to get their stuff out there seen in front of the right people. So again, you know, we've come a long way, and I thank God for technology, and for social media really helps a lot, because 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, really, we didn't have all this stuff. We didn't have TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, rest in peace, YouTube, all these different things that we can use now, these platforms. So I'm looking forward to doing more Nerds with Badges episodes, talking more about my projects, and had a lot of things lined up for this year. More conventions, more traveling, more hosts, co-hosts, guests. Been working on things. So my program is going to be becoming bigger and better. And I'm looking forward to doing more episodes. And that's my Nourishment Badges episode for February 2nd, 2025. And I'm out of here for now. I'm going to go to work. I try to watch a few minutes of Venom that I rented. I gotta watch it within 48 hours. You know, you pay $5.99 and you can watch a movie. You get like 48 hours to finish it. So it's decent so far. I'll do a review when I finish it.